I want to talk to Steph, because I think this is a problem that a lot of women experience, Zoe, after birth. Hello, Steph.
Hiya.
Hello. So you had a baby, and you said since then you've had, I think they call abdominal separation. Is that right?
Yes, yeah. So I had my son just over a year ago, and the doctor checked me at 8 weeks, and I had a 2-finger gap. And he said, don't do any exercises, and it should close on its own. I went back 5 months later, and it was exactly the same. So his advice was, don't do any exercises that use your abs, like, ever again.
Ever?
Okay. But yeah, so but that kind of narrows out a lot of exercises.
No, I'm finding it hard to visualise this and what Steph's talking about.
Yeah, so think about the six-pack.
Yeah.
And in the middle of the six-pack...
Long time since I've seen that. But
we all have one. We all have a six-pack. It's just how much fat's on top, whether you can see it or not. But in the middle, the abdominis rectus, it's called the linea albi, the line in the middle. Think about when the baby's growing, so the uterus is getting bigger, but also because of the hormones, the soft tissues get softer. So in the middle, it can actually gently come apart. And that, you may not notice much during pregnancy.
I mean, I know people who'll remain nameless, but I know people, men, whose tummy in the middle goes up on a rise like that, like a ridge. Is that the same thing?
Kind of. That's when sometimes, in men who are rather large, they can get a bulging and they can get separation in that same area, and it kind of looks like coning. We call it coning. Gotcha, So when you're doing a sit-up or if you're holding a plank, you can see that coning.
Does that, for most of us, it doesn't come apart completely, so we stretch and stretch and stretch, but for someone like Steph, it's come apart and hasn't gone back.
It hasn't come back.
So what does she do?
Like a hernia or something?
It's not a hernia. So a hernia is when the abdominal guts essentially come out. So in this situation, they don't. But you can put your fingers and you can feel. So Steph's saying 2 centimetres or about 2 finger widths. She can feel the gap in between the muscles. And 1 centimetre is normal, so you should feel a little gap anyway. So in terms of advice, what you can do, Steph, not doing any abdominal exercises ever again. No, but for the time being, it would be worth seeing a physiotherapist. And what you really want to do is try and strengthen the deep abdominal muscles. So it's exercises where you're trying to pull your belly button in towards your spine.
Pilates, kind of core strength.
Exactly.
Things.
So Pilates type things, and pelvic floor muscle exercises are really good. And in future pregnancies, and for anyone who's pregnant, actually, from the 2nd trimester onwards, there are certain abdominal exercises that you should avoid.
So Steph should persevere. She should persevere with all of this.
I would say have a chat with a physiotherapist and be guided by them as to some exercises will help and some may hinder.
And can she be referred by her GP to a physiotherapist? The GP who's saying don't do any exercise. Can she say, well, could I go and speak to somebody with a bit more...
Absolutely.
Good. Doctors, thank you both very much indeed. I wish the surgery was longer. Thank you very much indeed.